So here's an example problem for Chapter 14. It says West Virginia Power Company has 8% 10-year bonds payable that mature on June 30th, 2024. The bonds are issued on June 30th, 2014, and West Virginia Power pays interest each June 30th and December 31st, so twice a year. Requirements: will the bonds be issued at face value, at a premium, or at a discount if the market interest rate on the date of issuance is 7%? Then, if the market rate is 10%, is that a premium or a discount? So, for question 1 down here, oops, there we go. Get it formatted right. Okay, so if the bonds have a face value of 8% and they're issued, the market rate is 7% when they're issued, then that would be so I'll put for 7%, they would be issued at a premium. Okay, that's because if our rate on the bonds is higher than the market rate, then people will be willing to pay more money for the bonds. Conversely, at 10%, they would be issued at a discount. Why is that? Because the market rate of interest is 10% and we're only going to offer 8%, then obviously potential investors will probably not buy our bonds unless we offer some type of incentive. In that case, it would be offered at a discount. Okay, so question 2 here. West Virginia Power issued $100,000 of the bonds at 87,000 or at 87.548 or 87,548. Round all calculations to the nearest dollar. Well, that's basically 87.548 is basically the percentage there. So if you have 100,000 bonds at that rate, then 87,548 is what is actually getting paid on those bonds. So to figure that out, since it's $100,000, multiplying that times 87.548 is pretty easy, because any percentage, when it's a percentage of 100, is just that number. So for the issuance, this would be as of June 30th, 2014, and we would have a debit to cash for the discounted amount. So that would be 87,548. We would have a credit to bonds, payable. Well, should put that on the next line down here. Credit to bonds payable in the amount of 100,000 because that's what the face value of the bonds are. And then we will have a debit to discount on bonds payable. And that's going to be the difference between 100,000 and 87,548. So that's going to be, let's see here, 12,452. Okay, so that would be the journal entry to record the issuance. Now we want to record the payment of interest and amortization of the discount on December 31st, 2014. So that will be, I should have put an A there by the first one, but that will be B. And the way that looks, we're going to have an interest expense, and that will include both the actual amount that we pay in cash for the interest rate that's charged on those bonds, and also a portion of the discount. Okay, these are 10-year bonds, and there's 20 payment periods where we're paying interest. So we're going to divide the total discount by 20, and each one of those 20ths of the discount will be taken out during each one of these journal entries that are semi-annual. So we will have a credit to discount on bonds payable, and that's going to be lowering this amount right here by whatever we decide that is, and then a credit to cash for the actual interest payment. Okay, so figuring the interest payment, right here we're just going to do 100,000 times 0.08 times 6/12 or 1/2. So we have 100, 123 times 0.08 times 0.5, and that gives us $4,000. So that's the interest amount that's going out of there. And then for the discount, we're going to take this 12,452 and basically divide that by 20. So we'll have 12,452 divided by 20. We're left with 622.6, and so we'll just round that to 623. And then the debit side of that, of course, would be just adding those two together. And there's our entry for recording that. Okay, Part C, compute the bond's carrying amount at December 31st, 2014. Okay, so the carrying amount is going to be basically the bonds payable minus whatever's left in the discount on bonds payable account. Okay, so we see here this is what started in the discount account, and this is what we took out of that. So essentially we're going to start here and we're going to go 100,000 equals 100,000 minus, and then I'm going to put parentheses here, and I'm going to take this discount amount, 12,452, and I'm going to subtract from that 623. Okay, so in the parentheses here, that's just the original discount minus what's already come out of that discount when we amortize that for this period, and our carrying amount that we're left with is $88,171. And then Part D, record the payment of interest and amortization of discount on June 30th, 2015. Okay, so what that's going to look like is essentially the exact same thing that we saw here. So if I just copy that again down here, the journal entry is going to look exactly the same. The only difference, and I probably should have done that over here, is the date. So June 30th, 2015. This was December 31st, 2014. Okay, so that's the only difference between B and D, is the date on which that occurred. So that's it for our comprehensive example here. Covered most of the concepts that we talked about in lecture and in the book talks about, at least the most important ones. Doesn't necessarily mean this is the only thing that I want you to know, but it does cover a good portion of the topics that we discussed. So if you have any other questions outside of this example that you can't figure out from doing my accounting lab and your own work, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, that is it for now.